Hello you what's his faces, welcome back to a new video. Tigon here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys some tips to actually go ahead and get along with this new sniper nerf. Now it's not terrible, this is definitely not something that's made me happy, but you can still definitely get around it. You just got to snipe a little bit different than you usually would have sniped, so I'm going to give you guys a few tips to actually go ahead and do that. So with that being said, let's get into it. So with this new sniper nerf, one thing they definitely nerfed, but then it seems buffed back, was the accuracy of non-fully scoped in. And one thing I've noticed is blink scoping now is possible but still different. And what I mean by that is before you could mid scope kind of choose whether or not you wanted to do a blink scope. Now you have to pretty much almost decide. I mean, yeah, you can still do it, but it's not as seamless as it once was. So if you're going to take a regular shot, you can take a regular shot, and if you're going to blink scope or half scope, you're going to half scope. Otherwise you might end up missing. So what you're gonna have to go ahead and do now, if you actually want to go ahead and take a regular shot and make sure you're always constantly and consistently hitting your shots, you're gonna go ahead and pretty much fully scope in. You want to fully scope in, because the way they have it, you can't just go ahead and even half scope or something. You can, but the odds of you hitting the shot's gonna be much less. You could more likely get a hit marker, and on top of that, it's going to throw off the fluidity of your shot. So let's say you want to hit something like a feed, or there's multiple people and you want to keep pressure on them. If you're blink scoping or you're half scoping, that's going to cause your sniper to pretty much be off key. It's almost like a pattern. So depending on when you hit your shot, it's going to affect when you can scope in and consistently snipe. So by going ahead and taking your gun and fully scoping in and then hitting the shot, it's going to allow you to more easily be able to consistently hit your shots. So with that being said, here's a few tips to actually, go ahead and do that. So one, that is the very first tip. Make sure to scope in fully, which most people do know, but because of the ability to blank scope in previous seasons, people might still be going ahead and trying to do that. What you want to do is you want to fully scope in to hit your shot. Now if someone's right in front of you, yeah, go ahead, hit the shot off before you fully scope in, but 99% of the time you're gonna want to go ahead and scope in fully, like Flacco does when he's sniping. Now the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to want to practice. Now I've said this before, especially if you want to get into quickscoping, you want to practice the timing. And because of the sniper nerf, the timing has changed. So all the ADS speeds, they're changed. They're not how they used to be. So what you have to go ahead and do is literally practice the timing. Go in, practice timing. The same thing you have to do with blink scoping, but you want to get to the point where you are masterful of that. And that doesn't just work with the one sniper. One, you have to get used to that particular sniper, and then on top of that, you have to get used to that particular sniper with different attachments and maybe different perks. Now it's not going to be the hardest thing, but kind of keep the sniper you want to use or the attachments you want to use while practicing this relatively the same, because if you put like a certain scope on it, or you maybe change your attachments, which most people usually don't do. They usually keep one or two main snipers or main gunsmiths. They don't really change it too much, but if you do end up changing it, it's going to change the timing. So you want to pretty much get really comfortable with the timing. So as I said, take some time out. Might take you 3 hours, might take you, depends on how long it takes you to learn or how adept you are at sniping, but literally go ahead and practice scoping in fully and then hitting your shot. And once you're good with this, you will essentially be able to snipe way better and way easier than you were previously. Do this with every sniper, and do this with whatever attachments you want to actually go ahead and use when you're sniping. Now, a way you can actually cheat this and make sure you're always hitting your shots on time, so the pattern isn't broken, because if the pattern's broken, you kind of get something like this where you try to shoot and you can't shoot. That's why I'm telling you guys to master this, because you're going to end up with something like this. So you want to go ahead and shoot, and then you try to shoot again, you can't shoot because the pattern is broken. The way you can always make sure the pattern's broken, the way you can always make sure the pattern never breaks, other than just getting the pure muscle memory, is actually going ahead and listening. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to turn up the game sound real quick for you guys. So the game sound is going to be very loud, and I want you guys to listen to the clicks that you hear from the actual gun. So basically, when you hear this click, that's how you know you can snipe again. Now, if you guys heard those clicks, that's pretty much the gun going ahead and actually reloading. Now, you can also listen to the clicks, but you can also look at the character model while they're using their hand, but you don't really want to be looking in the corner of your screen. Also, your finger could be blocking it, especially if you're playing on a phone. So for me, it's a bit easier just to listen to the sound that the gun makes when you hit your shot. That's how you can always be able to time your shots, and it's a really cool trick you can use to make sure you know you're doing it right. Also helps because let's say you're blank scoping and then you want to get back into a regular shot, going ahead and listening to the clicking sound is going to allow you to make sure you're doing that on time. So keep that in mind. Now, the very last tip I'm going to give you guys is one, please, for the love of God, use toughness. They have nerfed the mess out of snipers in the sense of when you get shot, that flinch is terrible. Like, it is very, very bad. It's almost like, I don't know, it's pretty bad to say the least. So if you're in your scope, you get shot, you are no longer on target. Please use flinch, or not flinch, but please use toughness, because that will greatly reduce the flinch. Now it's actually needed. Before, there was no real reason to use toughness, but you're going to want to do this. Even if you're, you know, a quick scope or whatever, I still recommend putting it on unless you're using something very, very aggressive. Otherwise, the other perk I'd say is going to be quick fix. But the reason why I recommend using toughness so much is because you may want to go ahead and just aim down a hallway, even if you're a quick scoper. And if you're trying to get that nice clutch shot, even if they get like one bullet into you, your entire scope is going to go all the way up, and you're just not going to be able to control that, because one, you're not going to know when the bullet's going to hit you. There's no way you can predict that. So literally, best way to combat it is just to put toughness on. And the last thing I'm going to tell you guys is get out of your comfort zone. A lot of people are really used to using the 𝕮𝑑LQ-3 and the Locust. Try using other guns like the Arctic 50 and the Outlaw, because those are pretty much the best. Arctic 50 usually is pretty much my favorite right now. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Adios. Peace.